Hey, what's going on, guys? Happy Sunday. Welcome to our Sunday Stock Talk live stream. Wanted to go live very quickly and talk about some of the top stocks that our group members see value in. One thing that I want to start off by saying is I want to remind you that tomorrow, in observance to Labor Day, the stock market will be closed. So please make sure that you are aware of that, right? So stock market tomorrow will be closed in observance to Labor Day. As of right now, NASDAQ futures are open. So it gives us kind of an inside look on what the market is doing. It doesn't really mean much. I mean, NASDAQ futures are down very little, but there's no aggressive sell-off. There's no aggressive recovery. One thing that I wanted to talk about very quickly, I wanted to pull up SPY and also QQQ. Obviously, it was a pretty significant week last week with NVIDIA reporting earnings. We did not see a very dramatic move. I think it was kind of like not what everyone was expecting, especially because NVIDIA ended up exceeding expectations, yet it didn't react the way that most, I think, thought. So we'll see this upcoming week if the market, finally gets going. This is QQQ. As of right now, it's very challenging to try to predict, right? SPY is testing previous all-time highs. So I want to make sure that you guys are aware of that. It doesn't mean that we can't make new highs. It just means that, again, we're back at previous all-time highs for the S&P 500. So if we do get rejected here, that also should not come as much of a surprise, right? We're nowhere close to that EMA line. It's not that the market's indicating signs of reversal or anything like that. It's just we're reaching overbought resistance range levels, and it's just something to be aware of, right? Where we shouldn't be surprised if it begins to showcase signs of resistance. With that being said, I wanted to go live very quickly and talk about whatever stocks you guys see value in. I wanted to at least break down 5. So if you guys have a specific stock that you would like me to break down, all I literally ask you to do is to share it in the live chat. To partake in the live chat, you just have to be subscribed to the YouTube channel, and it will let you comment anything it is that you want. So feel free to share your top stock. Would love to break it down. Let's go ahead and get right into it. I really hope that you learned something new, and if you do, please consider dropping a thumbs up. So the first one is going to be Tesla that is being asked for me to break down. So Tesla, again, a lot of consolidation, not a very clear sense of direction of what it's actually doing. If we look at the larger timeframes, this is something that I talk about with my LPP team all the time. Larger timeframes give you larger or bigger perspectives when it comes down to the overall direction of this stock, or normally it does, right? So when markets are very overbought or extremely oversold, or we see a very bullish channel or very, very bearish channel, then there's moments like this where we're kind of just consolidating. We're not really indicating signs of an uptrend. We're not really aggressively selling off. These are very critical times where maybe it's not the best decision to take an impulsive trade, especially when we don't know if we're going to begin to recover or begin to sell off. And I kind of feel like that's going to be my answer for a lot of the bigger tech companies, because a lot of them are just showing signs of consolidation and a lot of them are just lacking progress. I know it's not just me that sees that. I'm sure a lot of you guys probably agree. And that just means that, again, if you wanted to be a little bit more on the conservative side and or wait for more of your criteria to be met, then that's ultimately what we would be waiting for. More of a clearer sense of direction, indicating either signs of an uptrend or signs of a downtrend. As of right now, a lot of consolidation. So it's a riskier time to carry an open position, especially when direction isn't necessarily super, super clear. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Just please make sure that if you're going to share a stock, you share the ticker symbol, not the actual name itself, right? Especially if it's a stock that I've never broken down before. I'm not going to know the ticker symbol right off the top of my head. So please make sure that you're aware of that. All right. The next one is going to be Nike. So Nike, this one is being requested by David. David, appreciate you tuning on in. Nike with an aggressive drop down. So overall direction for Nike has been a little bit more on the bearish side. So again, I'm looking at the day chart. This is very easy to see that based off of recent patterns, Nike has its bull runs, right? When it's indicating signs of an uptrend long term. And then Nike has had its bear runs. It looks like from the peak of 2021, Nike has consistently been making lower highs and lower lows. And the setup that we have right now is that it had a nice little run up, but this is where a lot of beginners get trapped. This is called the descending channel, when it's lower highs and lower lows. A lot of people get excited. Oh, it's indicating signs of an uptrend. Let me buy in, let me buy in, let me buy in. And guess what? It just forms a lower high and then gets rejected and then sells off and goes back to previous lows and then makes new lows, right? Lower highs and lower lows. This is when direction is against you. So I'm not here to say that it's going to continue to sell off forever because we don't know that, right? But as of right now, it's a strong descending pattern. And when looking at previous patterns, it's just something to be aware of, right? Where you want to make sure that you do your part and not putting yourself in a position that you simply cannot tolerate. And I think that's just a great reminder for a beginner, where on the 5 minute or on the 1 minute, you might think that it looks like this is about to take off, or it looks like it's indicating recent signs of an uptrend. But when you look at the much larger time frames, you can see that, okay, true direction for Nike has been more on the bear side of things. And because of that, I'm going to need to wait for a little bit more signs of confirmation or a break of pattern of this thing actually indicating signs of an uptrend. So ultimately, again, if direction is bearish, it doesn't mean that you can't trade it. It just means that if you do choose to, you're just putting yourself in a riskier position. And if you're okay with that, then so be it, right? So let me know what you think about that, David. I just wanted to share both the shorter time frame and the larger time frame perspective. I just would hate for you to enter a stock that you're going to end up regretting bag holding if it goes back down to $70 per share because of this descending channel. Again, just more looking out for a beginner. If you're someone that wants to be more aggressive, you're okay with buying into the dips, and you can tolerate the time that it will eventually take for the stock to recover, then great, so be it. But for someone that's a beginner, then don't put yourself in positions you cannot tolerate. So let me go ahead and move on to the next one. All right. Should we trade futures tomorrow? I am not. Joey's asking that question. So Joey, I personally do not trade futures. I'm not here to tell you what you should or should not be trading. I'm just telling you that I don't. And if you want to, then that's up to you. But just because the stock market is closed and shares are not available to be traded, it doesn't mean that you have to resort to, I need to trade futures, because you have to remember during these major holidays when markets are closed, there tends to be less volume, right? So less activity and most likely less significant opportunity that ends up presenting itself. And because of that, it's just maybe a day based off of opportunity cost that maybe might not be worth actually taking advantage of. So I hope that makes sense. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. So we have MU. Actually, we haven't been asked about Micron Technologies in a while. So I like this one. So I like it because I do remember this thing being incredibly bullish. Were any of you guys here when this thing was indicating signs of an uptrend? Higher highs, higher lows from about $50 per share all the way up to highs of $157. So an amazing return, but then has recently pulled on back, and we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, as of right now. So this is what I love. I love finding reversal opportunities. So let me make this very clear. This is not a stock that I would buy right now. And this is what I love talking about, when waiting for your setup, where if something is still actively selling off, if it's still trading below the EMA, if it's still indicating signs of lower highs and lower lows, then no, it's not something that I would like to buy the dip on. But it doesn't mean that you can't add it to your watch list and then set alerts to follow up with it. So Micron Technologies does have a track record of being bullish. It has a history of being bullish. And just because it's done it before doesn't mean that it has to do it again. But if it does, right, and if it begins to trade above that EMA, so I can wait all the way up until $110 per share. And from 110 based off of previous highs, it offers about 42% ROI. So if I think that this is possible, but I need to wait for confirmation or reversal, then that's exactly what I would set my criteria, right? I would be like, okay, Micron Technologies, I like the overall setup. It's bullish long-term, recently pulled on back. It's still on the bearish side of things, so I don't want to buy into the dip in fear that it could continue to sell off. But if it does begin to indicate signs of an uptrend, it does begin to indicate signs of a reversal. And just like you, that if you're a part of LPP, right, the 3 stages of reversal: rejection, consolidation, and then confirmation. If we get that confirmation of that reversal, then this could be a very profitable trade if all of our criteria is met. But that's the beautiful thing about trading, is there's those that actually wait for their criteria to be met and they won't trade if it's not met. And there's those that just say, F it, I'm just going to buy into the dip, hope for the best, and if it recovers, then I'll make a killing. And if it sells off, then maybe I'll just manage my risk, maybe I won't, right? It's all dependent on what kind of trader you want to be. Do you want to be a trader that's disciplined, that has structure, that truly understands his edge and that only trades when his edge criteria is met? Or do you want to be a trader that just takes impulsive trades and hopes for the best? I'm not here to convince you that you need to be more structured. I think your track record speaks for itself. If you are seeing inconsistencies in your trading, then maybe this is where you really need to step back, size down with your position size, and focus more on quality criteria to actually be met. Just my 2 cents. You guys can let me know what you think, but I would definitely say with Micron Technologies, I can see myself adding this thing to my oversold watch list and following up with it maybe for a swing trade when it actually begins to indicate signs of an uptrend. So Ricky, what are your thoughts on SMCI? It had a huge recent sell-off the past. Yeah, so SMCI is a little bit of a different story. So SMCI is going through, I think they pushed back their, is that correct? They pushed back their earnings and supposedly they're under fire for potentially fabricating some of their actual earning reports or some form of some part of their accounting. Like right now, SMCI is in a lot of hot water. I don't know if SMCI is going to make it. With that being said, yeah, it was very bullish, but I thought that it was all hype. Just like I've said it in the past before, I've made numerous videos, and when I made those videos, a lot of, I don't want to say a lot of you, but I'm sure that if you watch the videos, I talked about AI or SMCI being overhyped up. I did not see how that company could be worth $1,200. And everyone thought that, you know, I was just trying to instill fear in the market. And again, the market, the truth will always come out when it comes down to these markets, right? Aggressively pumps up, becomes overvalued within a very short period of time, and then now it finally corrects itself. Now it's heading all the way back down to where it was, consolidating, and that wouldn't surprise me. This just isn't a stock that I would personally feel comfortable buying the dip on. If you're an aggressive trader and you have an aggressive risk tolerance, then this might be something that you might want, that you can consider dabbling with. It's a high risk, high reward type of approach. If they actually end up reporting really good numbers and all of the smoke that they've been under, it's just all false and they do come out on top, then yeah, maybe it could begin to make a recovery. In my opinion, it's just too high risk for the slight potential reward. And I think that it was an overhyped up, overvalued company within a very short period of time. And although it's at $400 and that might look cheap based off of what it was trading at, I think this thing could sell off back down to $200 per share. And that's just what I think based off of the trajectory of how SMCI has been trading. You guys know that I love talking about when the stock is doing well, but I always love bringing awareness of when something might be overvalued. I know a handful of you guys, I've gotten your guys' messages before where sometimes you think that I'm too cautious, I'm too critical when it comes down to those things. But I want to remind you, a lot of beginners watch our videos. I think it's very important while everyone always focuses on trying to make money, the only way that you actually make money is if you keep it. So at those overbought levels, I love to remind traders that never is it a bad idea to lock in profits, especially when the profit potential no longer outweighs the risk potential. Just something to take into consideration. So let me go ahead and break down 2 more stocks. If you guys want me to break down your stock, please just make sure that you share it in the live chat and I'd be more than happy to break it down for you. And all you have to do is be subscribed to the channel to partake in that live chat. Let's go ahead and see it. So Ricky, are you still in your GME short? I am not. So GME, for those that are part of LPP, you might have seen some of the trading activity that we were doing on Friday. So I was all done trading NVIDIA. Someone brought up trading GME and had a quick little short position that I opened up on GME and then quickly, as it went into the close, ended up changing direction and then had to close out the trade, right? When direction goes against you, you end up closing it out. So I'm still looking forward to paying attention to it. I think it's going to be really interesting with GME. Actually, why don't we talk about that? Is that cool? I know that it might have not been a stock that you wanted me to break down, but it's a stock that's actively indicating signs of an uptrend. Now, you know, that's the thing. That's the thing that I love bringing awareness to. Don't get me wrong. When you ask the question, can I make money trading stocks like GME? Sure, you can make money trading anything, right? If you know when to enter and if you know how to take profits, if you know how to manage risk when direction goes against you. Now, what's one thing that has been proven every single time with GameStop and with AMC? Every single time that it pumps, it always dumps. That's been a fact. It's not an opinion. It's not, what do they call it? Fear mongering. It's a fact. This stock has a 100% dump rate. Like that is true. With that being said, I don't personally like trading it when it's going up. I love preparing for its downfall because it happens every time. It's literally, to me, it's like what's that analogy? Taking candy from a baby. You just have to wait for this thing to begin to crash. And then the only risk is not having enough shares available to short it. That's the only thing, right? So with that being said, I think, if you're someone that wants to pay attention to a stock that has a lot of activity, a lot of trading activity, that you can tolerate a lot of that volatility, and you want to trade it as it's indicating signs of an uptrend, sure, be my guest. It's up to you. It's higher risk, higher reward type of play. I like to short this stock. I like to trade it when it peaks, and I like to short it when it dumps. That's my favorite time to take advantage of it, because that is one thing it always does. I don't know where the peak is going to be, and that's why I'm not always super confident on going long on it, right? But guess what? When it begins to dump, it's a free fall. And that is much easier, in my opinion, to make money on these pump and dumps than it is to try to guesstimate, how high it's going to go, right? Is this the peak, or is it going to go to $30? Is it going to go to $60? All of that is possible. All I have to do is wait, because it's not an if it's going to pull on back based off of its track record. It's a when, right? And when it does, I want to be there to strike. Think about it. Like, if you really do think about it, and all you do is short one stock when these opportunities present themselves, they offer huge downside potential. That was a 75% drop. Even if you capture 1/5 of that, that was a 61% drop. Even if I capture 5 or 10% of that, I would be so happy, right? And that's the beautiful thing about trading is, do you truly wait for your opportunities to present themselves? Or do you just go and take action when you want to? You're just like, I'm just going to short it now. Okay, well, maybe it's not the best time. Or I'm just going to go long on it now and hope that it continues to go up. Then you're just going to get yourself in some hot water eventually, right? So just something to take into consideration. Definitely, if you're part of my LPP group, and during Tuesday's live trading session, if this thing continues to rally, it's something that I'll probably start following up with every single day. And I'll just start paying attention to it on when it begins to peak and when it begins to dump. All right, let me go ahead and do one more stock that we will break down. Again, if you guys want me to break down your stock, you guys can refresh your screen so you guys can see the live chat. Would love to break down your top stock. Share your top stock in that live chat, and all you have to do is be subscribed. So what's going on, Andy? Appreciate you tuning on in, man. Okay. EOSE. I don't know if we've broken that one down before. All right, so it looks like it has pretty low volume. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of that volume. Okay, so this looks, I don't know what happened here, but it looks like a penny stock. Yeah, it is a penny stock. It's a pink sheet stock, anything under $5, and it came from 61 cents. This looks like a pump and dump. I don't know what randomly happened. I can see that there was a shift of volume and a shift of price action here. So all of a sudden, it went from selling off to now higher highs. It pulls back hard when it becomes overbought, and higher highs and higher lows. So, and it has an aggressive history of selling off. And again, I'm not here to convince you should not trade something that you want to. And that's one thing that you'll become familiar with if you're not already familiar with, how I do things. I think there's a lot of money to be made in so many different ways. We have people that trade options. We have people that trade lower cap stocks. My thing is please understand the market enough before you decide to just jump the gun and trade super risky stocks like this. This thing might look like a good idea as of right now because it's indicating signs of an uptrend, but I can clearly see that all it does is it pumps and then it dumps. 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 So it is pumping right now, but it's just like AMC. For how long eventually until it peaks, and then it just begins to dump. Do not put yourself in a position that you're going to end up regretting. And I think that's a great reminder. So as of right now, I'm not going to end it with this. I'm going to break down another stock because I just don't want to end it I'm just not a fan of this stock. So let me go ahead and break down another one. So I see SoFi was being one that was being requested. So let me go ahead and break it down for you. So SoFi on the 4-hour time frame, a lot of consolidation, not a very clear sense of direction. I'm not a fan of this either. It was a strong descending pattern, and it's kind of just consolidating here. This is not bullish. This is not bearish. This just is not something that I would personally want to trade myself. If this meets your criteria, regardless of what it is, then great. If you think it's all of a sudden going to begin to take off, then maybe you know something that we don't, and great. But for me, as of right now, it's just a lot of consolidation and not enough. I don't want to hope for this thing to begin to recover. I want it to start to recover. So if you think that it will, then great, set your alerts. But as of right now, this just doesn't meet my criteria. So let me find another one. All right. Am I blind? I'm not blind. I see you sharing your stock just like I see others sharing their stock. But that's a great way for me not to break down your stock. ENPH, yeah, that's Enphase, right? Enphase Energy. Here it goes. Strong descending pattern, a lot of consolidation, no clear sense of direction. So no higher highs, no lower lows. It's trying to find its support. Maybe you can wait for proper signs of a reversal or recovery, but it does not have that as of right now. So maybe set an alert for the break above 140. And when it begins to break above that and actually indicate signs of an uptrend, then maybe that would be a different story. So, all right, well, why would I want to break this stock down? There's a handful of you that were asking for me to break this one down. Why? A lot of consolidation. It randomly pumped a lot of consolidation. No clear sense of direction. Is this the right one? What can you guys give me some feedback on it? Why is this one such a popular one? All it does is consolidate. And it looks like, what is it, an AI company, a wannabe AI company? What am I missing? Like, why would I want to trade this? You like being able to, so buy the lows, sell the highs, right? Do you like trading horizontal patterns? There's nothing wrong with that. This just isn't indicating signs of an uptrend. Many partners going on, okay? It sounds like it's just a really good marketing campaign of bringing on partners to boost the credibility of a company, and those are short-lived positive catalysts. Look up Nikola, NKLA. They were really great at disclosing all these partners that they were going to be working with just to pump up their stock price. At one point, surpassed Ford's overall market cap of $90 billion. And I think Nikola is now worth about $1 to $2 billion and in the brinks of filing for bankruptcy. So, AFRM. Okay. A lot of these stocks are boo-boo. Strong descending pattern, and all of a sudden it began to take off. Now extremely overbought. So, some good news had to be shared there because this thing all of a sudden, right, maybe reported earnings, I don't know what this is, but became very overbought within a short period of time and volume completely took off. All right. CMG. Okay, so CMG did drop, right? They dropped after their CEO pretty much almost decided to leave them. I like the CMG setup. Overall, long term, it wouldn't be a day trade, not at all. Potential swing trade, but it's a strong bullish company as long as it holds its ground here, right? As long as we don't make lower highs and lower lows. So that would be a break-if pattern if you enter and then it begins to sell off. That's where I would, in a sense, manage risk at a potential break-if pattern. But it's a nice potential ascending uptrend pattern with higher lows and potential higher highs. So a nice little reversal setup if we get confirmation of this reversal and progress on the upside. So definitely I can see the potential there if it actually begins to recover from its negative news of their CEO leaving to Starbucks, who I think starts in September or October or something like that. So we'll end it here. Obviously, tomorrow we will not be live for our Sunday stock talk in observance to Labor Day. The stock market is closed, so it's just something to take into consideration that, unfortunately, market is closed, but at least now you're actually looking forward to Mondays, which is probably something that not a lot of people were always looking forward to. So I'm really excited. We have a handful of you guys that ended up just recently joining our LPP team, and really excited to have a handful of you guys join us for LPP 3.0. So I'll make sure that I provide you guys with more updates as they come. But starting Tuesday at market open, if you signed up for LPP 2.0, you will have access to our live trading session. Just please make sure you get access to our Discord, which is provided for you within the LPP lesson library within the first 3 videos of the lesson library. So I appreciate your time. If you have any questions, feel free to comment down below. If you want to join LPP, it's the second link in the description down below. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, team.